In any case where there's a lab leak of a deadly pathogen, it's somewhat human. It's a very human tendency to want to either cover it up or minimize it. And in a secretive society, say the Soviet Union during the height of the Cold War, which is a good example, you had a system where there wasn't really any interest whatsoever in divulging truth to either the Soviet people, much less admitting that to your adversary. In this case, it was the United States. So in the Soviet Union, there was a very famous incident, again, in the 1970s, where there were rumors of an outbreak of anthrax at a city called Sverdlovsk, which is a secretive city, fairly remote. And we couldn't, in the United States, figure out what had happened. And eventually, the Soviets admitted there had been an anthrax outbreak, and they blamed it on frozen meat, that frozen meat, contaminated meat, had killed off a bunch of people. And American scientists actually collaborated with the Soviets in showing that this had happened, supposedly. Unfortunately, that was actually not what happened. In fact, the Soviets had covered up what had happened, which was that they were operating a bioweapons facility at a place called Compound 19, which was manufacturing aerosolized, weaponized anthrax. And in that case, someone had forgotten to change a filter in the anthrax facility. It was an error, again, not purposeful at all. It was an error. And it had killed off approximately 70 people. We don't even know for sure how many died of anthrax. This only came to light after the end of the Soviet Union. It only really came to light in the late 1980s and beginning in the early 1990s, when the American scientists who had initially endorsed the so-called frozen meat theory turned out and realized, when Soviet pathologists who had secretly kept specimens from the lungs of victims divulged the truth, and the truth finally came out. But that's a great example here. You have, 20 years of obfuscation and cover up. That's how long it took